And so one of the ways at Overlake that we have seen this happen, where we've seen a place where God is at work and we get to partner with that, is at the South Texas border. And many of you have heard of our partnership with an organization called Border Perspective in South Texas and a church called Iglesia Misionera Cristo Vive. And many of you have heard of their incredible faith, of this small community that is impacting their community. It's impacting the international community. It's impacting the Overlake community. And many of you have heard of also the tragedy that has happened, that Pastor Hugo's death in that community. And so this January, I got to go down with a team of 9 Overlakers. And I got to go not as a pastor, not leading the team. I just got to go and participate and see what God was doing and partner in that. And it was amazing. It was incredible because I was seeing all of these layers of the promises of God fulfilled. He did it for me personally. I saw it among our team, and then I saw it beyond. I saw it again and again, these layers. And it was really fast. It was only 4 days long. And on the plane ride back, after we've witnessed a lot of the heaviness and a lot of heartbreak, seeing what's happening at the border right now, but also seeing the people of God on the move. These are some thoughts that I wrote down on the plane ride back. In the midst of intense heaviness and heartbreak, I am continually reminded of the ways the Lord is still at work, using beautiful, faithful, ordinary people to bring hope and healing in the kingdom. And here are some of the ways. Through a grieving family's decision to choose generosity and steadfastness, exhibiting this deep faith. Through a tiny church, working joyfully and tirelessly every single week to bring hope and food security to hundreds in their community. Through migrant families seeking asylum from unspeakable trauma, being met with resources and care and literally clothed in dignity. And then through a seemingly random team of Overlakers coming together with a posture of curiosity and humility and discipling one another in maturity and courageously taking risks. Now, there were 9 of us, like I said, on this team. Some were new to Overlake, some had been here a long time. One person actually doesn't attend Overlake. One person was new to following Jesus. And we were all in this place learning together, in this posture of just learning, because we're seeing how God is on the move, and it's seeing how we can partner in that. And so we'd been there for a couple days, and then it's Saturday night, and we're preparing the next day to attend the church service of the church we were partnering with. And on Saturday night, it's about 8 p.m., we find out that the pastor of the church, Pastor Eunice, had been watching us the last few days and came to us and said, okay, somebody from this group, one of you is going to speak at church tomorrow. God has a word, and it's from this group for our community. And it's Saturday night at like 8 o'clock. And so we're like, okay. And we go, kind of look around and go around. And the first thought was, well, Pastor Cara's here, so probably that's who's going to speak, right? Wrong. That's not how we're doing things, right? I was like, no, this is an opportunity for somebody. This is our moment to hear from God, see what he is saying, and be used to participate in the work that God is doing. He has a word. And so we went around, and then my friend Kelly said, okay, I'll do it. And he took a risk, and he said, okay, I think God has a word. I think he has a word of encouragement, because we got to see the faith of this community in action. Not only did Kelly say yes, but he did something that I don't think I would have done, and it's kind of convicting me. He said yes. And instead of what I would have done would be like, okay, guys, bye, see ya. I'm going to go on a prayer walk, and then I'm probably going to journal, and then I'm going to shut the door, and I'm going to lock myself in this room all night and pray. He was like, let's do this together, because God isn't just speaking through me. He's speaking through all of us. And so our team, we had 2 apartments for the guys, and the girls were in these apartments. And first he went to all the guys and said, what is God speaking to this community? What are you sensing? And they opened their Bibles and they opened their journals, and he began to write down some thoughts. Okay, this is what we think that God is saying to this community. And then we all came together, and he asked everyone, Does this feel right? What are you sensing the encouragement God has for us to bring to this community that is grieving, that is hurting? And it was so beautiful because it didn't matter how long you'd been a part of this team or how long you'd been at Overlake. Every single person contributed. Every single person was part of putting this together. So then the next morning, Kelly is speaking, and we have this picture, I think. This is Kelly and our friend Jen, who was our translator and our guide, a phenomenal leader. And Kelly is sharing this encouragement to the people. He's saying, we have heard of your faith. Your faith has gone out to the broader community because of what God is doing. And he also brought this challenge that because God is the one fulfilling his promises, that we can rest. It's okay to rest. There is a command to Sabbath that we get to obey. We get to rest because this community had just been going and it was all good work. It's good things. And also, if God is the one doing it, we get to rest in those promises. We get to step in and we also get to rest. And so Kelly brought this amazing word of encouragement. He shared this illustration from Encanto. And at the end, he shared this blessing over the people, over the entire church. And you guys, I'm looking around and everyone is weeping. I had snot in my KN95 mask. You know what I'm talking about? And you're like, I'm never using this mask again. There's nothing I can do. But it's this beautiful moment because you recognize that it is God. He's the one that's doing it. He's the one that's fulfilling his promises. He's the one that's speaking. He's the one that loves this community more than we could ever imagine. And afterwards, we sing this song. We sing a song called Waymaker. And it's the most holy rendition I've ever heard in English and in Spanish because we are recognizing that he is always working, that he is always moving. And afterward, Jen, our translator, she said, I knew. She didn't know about our plans, but she said, I knew this wasn't just Kelly, that this was a piece of the heart of every person on your team. I knew when I heard this, that this was Alyssa's heart. I knew when I heard this, that this was Donna's heart. I knew that this was what Eric is passionate about. I knew all of these things. And it was the collaboration as we're listening to the Holy Spirit, that all of our hearts together made this beautiful thing. So beautiful. And just as when Jesus came out of the water, and the voice of the Father says, you are my beloved, in you I am well pleased. As I'm sitting there with snot filling up my mask, I hear the voice of the Father saying, you bring me great joy. I am well pleased. In Overlake, I hear the voice of the Father saying, you are my beloved. In you I am well pleased. Not because of what you've done. There's some great stuff happening at Overlake. But it's not our works. It's not our good deeds. It's not the family we were born into. It's because we're part of God's family. We are the beloved. That is our core identity, and we get to live from that place.